A recent article published by Redfin lists the fastest growing cities in the state of Virginia. And one of those top cities would be the city of Chesapeake, Virginia. The city itself is well known for its family-friendly atmosphere, its outdoor activities that it offers for anyone and everybody. However, the city itself might not be for everyone. In fact, it can be quite the opposite.
Really?
Really?
That's exactly what we're going to discuss in this video, as we're going to review 5 things you need to know about living in the city of Chesapeake, Virginia before you consider making that move. And these are not in any particular order, so make sure you stick around to the end. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, so before we get into the 5 things about living in Chesapeake, Virginia that I think you're absolutely gonna hate, don't let that scare you, as not every city's for everyone, but I can tell you out of personal experience, as a resident of Chesapeake for over 25 years, me personally, there's not another city in Hampton Roads that I would wanna live. So after watching these things, you have to decide whether the city of Chesapeake is right for you or not. But the first thing about living in the city of Chesapeake, Virginia that really might bother you would just be the overall traffic in the city. As I mentioned in the beginning, Chesapeake is one of the fastest growing cities in all of the state of Virginia. Actually, according to Redfin, it's the number 2 fastest growing city. And unfortunately, as all those people are coming into the city to live, the city has really not done a great job of building infrastructure around that massive growth. So traffic is definitely an issue you're gonna deal with if you live in Chesapeake, Virginia. Let's take a look at 2 of the major pain points as far as highway traffic goes in the city of Chesapeake, Virginia. The first one is currently under construction right now, as it is currently being expanded, and that would be the high-rise bridge. The high-rise bridge is on Interstate 264, and that runs over the Elizabeth River. It is a bridge that can open due to boat traffic. Due to the height of the bridge, it's very infrequently opened, and you usually have a pretty good notice of when that opening is. During rush hour traffic, there's a lot of bottleneck traffic right here in this location. The other road that causes a lot of issues with traffic, definitely during rush hour, you're going to deal with if you live anywhere in the southern parts of Chesapeake, and that would be Route 168, or better known as the Chesapeake Expressway. The Chesapeake Expressway is the main thoroughfare for people that are traveling to and from the Outer Bank. So during the summertime, traffic gets really crowded during this time. And also, I will let you know, as you get farther down south into Chesapeake, the Chesapeake Expressway becomes a toll road. But during the summertime, those tolls do increase in price, especially on the weekends. Traffic is a huge issue in the city of Chesapeake, one that I think might drive you crazy if you have to commute to and from work, out of it, or anywhere in the city. So one of the things I really like about the city of Chesapeake, Virginia, compared to some of the other cities in Hampton Roads, is there definitely is a country living style here in Chesapeake that you won't find in some of the other cities. I already mentioned how there's a lot of outdoor activities you can take advantage of in the city. There's a lot of wooded areas. Unfortunately, all that leads into one thing. You might find it amusing that I would list mosquitoes as one of the things you're gonna hate about living in Chesapeake, Virginia, but if you've never experienced it here in Chesapeake, I can tell you,
trouble is real.
The city itself, in an effort to combat these mosquitoes, actually has a mosquito control commission, and they actually come during the summertime in the warmer months and spray in the evening times to kind of limit the amount of mosquitoes that are in our area. Unfortunately, they can't get them all, and I promise you mosquitoes, as soon as you step outside, are gonna start to attack you a little bit. It does seem to be different by person, as I myself don't get near as attacked as my wife does. Taking a look at this AccuWeather forecast just this week in June, you can see how there's really is a high chance for mosquitoes, and a lot of that just has to do with our climate here in Chesapeake, as in the summertime it is warm. Spring and summer, not only is it humid, but it's also a little wet as well, and those are perfect conditions for mosquitoes. And I can tell you right now, mosquitoes is definitely something that's going to be on your mind when you live in Chesapeake, Virginia, as you want to make sure you have bug spray with you at all times if you're trying to spend any time outdoors with you and your family. Everybody seems to be coming to live in the city of Chesapeake, and what that is doing to the housing prices, both in purchasing and rentals, is it's really jacking those prices up. As you know, across the country, those are increasing everywhere, but here in Chesapeake, they tend to be a little bit higher than some of the other cities in the Hampton Roads. To give you an idea, let's take a look at our local MLS reports. This is using the Real Estate Information Network. When you take a look at Chesapeake, Virginia, the median sales price of a house in Chesapeake, Virginia during Q1 of 2023 was $358,000, and that was actually up 5.3% 33% versus the same time last year. And how do those numbers stack up to the other cities in Hampton Roads? Well, I'm glad you asked. Here we are looking at the south side, and when you look at the chart here, the median sales price, the overall south side Hampton Roads is $319,000, which is actually up a little more than Chesapeake at 5.8%. That orange line on the very top, that would be Chesapeake. Right below Chesapeake is Suffolk and Virginia Beach, and then you have Norfolk and Portsmouth below that. And those prices there were just if you were looking to purchase a house. The rental market is very similar here. We're gonna look at a website here called rentcafe.com, and it shows some average prices in the city of Chesapeake, Virginia. The average rent in Chesapeake, Virginia is $1,577 a month. That would be on average a 981 square foot house. Now, how does that stack up to some of the other cities in Hampton Roads? Again, let's take a look here on Rent Cafe. Looking at this chart, you can see Norfolk is at 1,371. Virginia Beach is right there with Chesapeake, a little higher, 1,583. Then you have the city of Suffolk at 1,601, so also a little higher than Chesapeake. And then the city of Portsmouth, Virginia at 1,248. As you can see, just looking at this chart, is the rental prices have really increased over the last few years, and due to a supply and demand issue in both housing and rentals, we are continuing to see those prices rise. So housing is something you're definitely going to have to consider if you're looking to move into Chesapeake, Virginia. If you're getting any value out of this video, if you would really do me a great favor, hit that like button below. That way YouTube will get this video out to as many people as possible. I really appreciate that. Also, if you're considering Chesapeake, but you also want to know about some of the other cities in Hampton Roads, take a look at my playlist here that shows all the pros and cons of some of the other cities like Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Suffolk. That way you can decide what city's best for you. All right, so as I mentioned, I've lived in the city of Chesapeake for over 25 years. I thoroughly enjoy it, but one of the things I would say about the city that is a little discouraging, most likely if you're looking for any kind of entertainment, you're probably going to be doing that outside of the city of Chesapeake, Virginia. There are great options throughout Hampton Roads. To give you an idea of some of them that come to mind to me, one of my favorite things is I'm a sports fan, is my family and I really enjoy going to Tides games with baseball, or we enjoy going to hockey games with the Norfolk Admirals. Both of those are done in Norfolk. If you enjoy outdoor concerts, the biggest one in our area is the Virginia Beach Amphitheater, or better known as the Veterans United Home Loans Theater. Changes its name quite often. That's in Virginia Beach, as the name suggests. There's also an outdoor facility for concerts called the Portsmouth Pavilion. And then while Chesapeake does have the Greenbrier Mall, I can tell you that mall is a shell of what it used to be. So if you're looking for a good mall to do some shopping, that also is in Virginia Beach at the Lynn Haven Mall. And then if you're looking for some outlets, you have two options in Hampton Roads. You could go a little bit north outside of Hampton Roads to the Williamsburg Premium Outlet, or the newer outlets here in Norfolk. And then probably one of the most famous and well-known things you can do if you live in Hampton Roads would be to go to the beach. Unfortunately, you're not going to the beach in Chesapeake. If you really are looking for a lot of fun activities to do and you don't want to have to go very far to do them, Chesapeake might not be for you. One thing Chesapeake definitely gets positive remarks on would be the Chesapeake public school system. With all the growth in the city of Chesapeake, unfortunately, I feel the city kind of is a little delayed on building infrastructure, whether that would be roads or also schools. So if you live in Chesapeake, one thing that might drive you crazy is the amount of overcrowding in the Chesapeake schools. I myself can speak to that from personal experience, as I had two daughters that have graduated from the Hickory High School system. You don't have to take my word for it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put a link in the description down below so you can read Chesapeake's capital improvement plan. And taking a look at the capital improvement plan, you will see what schools are being planned to be built in the future. As far as high schools go, we have 7 high schools in the city of Chesapeake. My personal opinion, we could use a couple more. The next one isn't planned to be built until around the 2028 or 29 years. I can tell you myself, I really think the Chesapeake school system does a great job with their teaching. They get a lot of positive remarks. You can watch some of my previous videos about the Chesapeake schools. Based on all that, if you pick Chesapeake, Virginia, due to the schools, just know it's usually pretty crowded. So do your research, because most likely your kids might be in portables, whether they're in high school, middle school, or elementary school in some of our schools here in Chesapeake, Virginia. So after reviewing some of these things about Chesapeake, Virginia, are you wondering if it's right for you? Well, if you're having second thoughts here, take a look at the video I did right here on the city of Virginia Beach and its pros and cons. And if you have any questions, my information's down below. Please reach out. I'd love to help you. And until the next video, hope you have a great day, and we will see you then.